Have you ever said something in the heat of the moment that you deeply regretted later? Or let your emotions get the better of you, causing unnecessary stress and tension in your relationships? It's a struggle we all face. Impulsive reactions that leave us feeling chaotic and powerless. The truth is, reacting without thought often adds fuel to the fire, creating a cycle of regret and inner turmoil. But here's the good news. There's a way to break free. Imagine having the power to pause, think, and respond with clarity and confidence. This isn't just wishful thinking. It's a skill grounded in timeless Buddhist wisdom, and it's something you can master. In this video, you'll discover 10 transformative techniques to control your emotions, reduce suffering, and cultivate unshakable inner peace. And stick around until the end, because there's a powerful bonus lesson waiting for you, one that could change the way you live your life forever. If there's one thing you take away from this video, let it be this. Mastering non-reaction is not just a skill, it's the foundation of a peaceful life. Let's begin. Principle 1. Master the present moment. The storm of emotions often strikes without warning. A cutting remark, an unexpected challenge, or the weight of unspoken expectations. In those moments, our first instinct is to react, to defend, to lash out, or to retreat. But what if the true power lies in not reacting at all? Buddhist wisdom teaches us the profound strength of mastering our emotions through one principle: living in the present moment. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. These timeless words from Buddha remind us that emotional turbulence thrives when we live outside the now. Think about it. Anxiety stems from fears of what's to come, while regret chains us to what has already passed. But when you anchor yourself in the present moment, you create a space of clarity, a refuge where your mind can breathe. Imagine this. A young professional named Maya faces relentless criticism at work. Each word from her manager feels like a blow, triggering anger and self-doubt. Initially, she reacts impulsively, defending herself, and later replaying the scene in her head, drowning in regret. But one day, she chooses a different path. During a heated discussion, Maya pauses, takes a deep breath, and focuses solely on the present. Instead of reacting, she listens, truly listens. She acknowledges the emotions rising within her, but lets them pass like clouds across the sky. This shift changes everything. By not reacting, she gains control, responds thoughtfully, and begins to thrive in her role. The modern world is filled with distractions, pulling us away from the here and now. Social media demands our attention, and the pressure to succeed keeps us focused on future outcomes. But the act of being present is a radical rebellion against these forces. How can you practice it? Start small. Each time emotions surge, take a pause. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and bring your awareness to the sensations of the moment, your breath, the ground beneath your feet, or the sounds around you. This simple act of mindfulness creates a gap between stimulus and response, giving you the freedom to choose how to act. Challenge yourself today. When emotions arise, resist the urge to react immediately. Instead, anchor yourself in the now. Ask, what is happening in this moment? How can I respond with clarity, not impulse? With practice, you'll discover a profound truth. True strength lies not in controlling the external world, but in mastering your inner one. By embracing the present, you unlock the power to remain calm amidst chaos and respond with wisdom. 2. The power of mindfulness. The power to control your emotions is not found in suppressing them, but in understanding them. This is the essence of mindfulness, an ancient practice that sharpens self-awareness, allowing you to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment. Mindfulness isn't about silencing the mind, but learning to watch it with clarity and compassion. This practice can transform how you respond to the challenges of daily life. Consider Rahul, a young entrepreneur juggling deadlines, client demands, and personal obligations. One morning, after an intense client call, an unexpected email arrives criticizing his work. Frustration wells up within him, and his immediate urge is to fire back a defensive reply. But Rahul remembers something he learned about mindfulness. Instead of reacting, he pauses. He closes his eyes, takes a deep breath, and focuses on the sensation of the air entering and leaving his body. As he does this, the storm in his mind begins to settle. He sees the situation for what it is, a momentary challenge, not a personal attack. This clarity helps him craft a measured and professional response, one that fosters understanding rather than conflict. In the modern world, impulsive reactions often dictate our actions. Whether it's a heated argument with a loved one or a stressful situation at work, our emotions can control us if we let them. But mindfulness offers a different path. By becoming a silent observer of your own mind, you create a gap between stimulus and response, a gap where wisdom resides. Practicing mindfulness is simpler than you might think. Begin with a few minutes each day. Find a quiet space, sit comfortably, and focus on your breath. When thoughts arise, and they will, acknowledge them without judgment and gently bring your focus back to your breath. Over time, this practice builds a habit of awareness, allowing you to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. Here's a challenge for you today. The next time you feel anger, frustration, or anxiety rise within you, pause, close your eyes, and take 3 deep breaths. Notice the emotion, but don't engage with it. Observe it as a passing cloud in the sky of your mind. Ask yourself, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? By doing this, you'll begin to reclaim control over your reactions. Mindfulness is not just a practice, it's a way of being. It equips you with the tools to navigate life's challenges with grace, turning moments of emotional chaos into opportunities for inner growth and wisdom. 3. Let go through detachment. Emotions often tie us to expectations, outcomes, and relationships, making us prisoners of our own attachments. We chase happiness in achievements, possessions, or the approval of others, and when things don't go as planned, the pain feels unbearable. But Buddhist wisdom offers a liberating truth. True freedom lies in letting go. Detachment is not about indifference, but about learning to love and live without clinging. It's appreciating fully without becoming bound. Think of Mira, a passionate artist who pours her soul into every painting. For years, her happiness depended on the recognition her art received. A single critique could shatter her confidence, and every sale, or lack thereof, dictated her self-worth. Then one day, a mentor shared this wisdom. Create not for approval, but for the joy of creating. Detach from the outcome, and you will find peace. Slowly, Mira shifted her mindset. She still cared deeply about her art, but she no longer let its reception define her. This detachment gave her newfound freedom, allowing her to create with greater authenticity and joy. In the modern world, detachment is one of the hardest lessons to learn. Society teaches us to hold on tightly, whether it's to careers, relationships, or material success. But when we tie our happiness to things outside our control, we set ourselves up for suffering. Detachment helps us break free from this cycle. It allows us to love deeply, but without fear of loss, to strive for success without being crushed by failure, and to experience life without being consumed by it. Practicing detachment starts with a simple mindset shift. Reflect on what you are holding on to too tightly. Is it the need for validation, fear of losing someone, anxiety over outcomes you can't control? Then remind yourself, life is impermanent and clinging will only increase suffering. Instead, learn to embrace life's flow. Appreciate what you have without trying to possess it. Love without fear of losing. Work hard, but let go of the results. Here's your challenge for today. Identify one thing you are overly attached to, a goal, a possession, or an expectation. Take a moment to step back and say, I release this attachment. I will do my best, but let go of the outcome. Notice how this simple act of letting go creates space for peace within you. Detachment is not about giving up, it's about finding freedom. By letting go, you gain the strength to live fully, love deeply, and navigate life's changes with grace and resilience. 4. Pause before reacting. In life, emotions often rush in like a tidal wave, overwhelming us and leaving little room for thought. A sharp comment, a stressful deadline, or an unexpected obstacle can trigger anger, frustration, or anxiety in an instant. The urge to react can feel uncontrollable, but Buddhist wisdom offers a powerful remedy: the deliberate pause. By creating space between stimulus and response, we gain the ability to act with intention rather than impulsiveness. Picture this. Ravi, a young manager, is in a tense team meeting. One of his colleagues criticizes his strategy in front of everyone. Immediately, Ravi feels his chest tighten, his pulse quicken, and a burning desire to defend himself. He's on the brink of snapping back when he remembers an insight he once read. In the space between stimulus and response lies your power to choose. Ravi pauses. He takes a deep breath, counts to 5, and lets the initial wave of emotion subside. In that moment of stillness, clarity replaces anger. Instead of reacting defensively, he calmly addresses the feedback, turning what could have been a heated argument into a constructive conversation. This simple pause is a powerful tool in managing emotions. In today's fast-paced world, we often feel pressured to respond immediately, whether it's to a critical email, a heated argument, or a social media comment. But immediate reactions, driven by unchecked emotions, often lead to regret. A pause, however, shifts the dynamic. It gives you control over the moment, allowing wisdom and calmness to guide your actions. The practice of pausing starts with awareness. When you feel emotions rising, acknowledge them without judgment. Instead of reacting, take a deep breath. Focus on the sensation of air entering and leaving your lungs. This anchors you to the present and disrupts the autopilot of impulsive reactions. Once calm, ask yourself, what is the best way to respond in this situation? This simple question transforms conflict into an opportunity for growth. Here's a challenge for you today. The next time you face a moment of tension, whether it's a disagreement with a friend or a stressful situation at work, pause. Take 3 deep breaths. Allow yourself to feel the emotion without being controlled by it. Then, choose your response thoughtfully. Notice how this practice diffuses tension and fosters understanding. The power of not reacting lies in this pause. It's a small act with profound impact, turning moments of emotional chaos into opportunities for mindful action. By mastering the pause, you take back control of your emotions and become a source of peace and wisdom in every interaction. 5. Embrace impermanence. Life is a river, constantly flowing, never the same from one moment to the next. Yet, we often resist this truth, clinging to what feels certain, fearing change, and dreading loss. Buddhist wisdom teaches us to embrace impermanence, the understanding that everything is transient, this too shall pass. It is not a message of despair, but one of profound liberation. When we accept that all things, both joy and sorrow, are temporary, we release the grip of fear and find peace in life's flow. Imagine Aisha, a young professional whose world feels like it's crumbling after a sudden breakup. She is consumed by questions. What did I do wrong? Will I ever find love again? Days stretch into weeks, and the pain feels endless. One evening, while reading about mindfulness, she stumbles upon a passage. The only constant in life is change. Pain is not permanent, nor is joy. Both are visitors. Welcome them and let them go. These words resonate deeply with her. Slowly, she begins to reflect not on what she's lost, but on what this change might teach her. She leans into the discomfort, knowing it will pass, and in doing so, she discovers strength she didn't know she had. In the modern world, impermanence often feels like an enemy. We cling to jobs, relationships, and routines, desperately seeking stability. Yet, this attachment creates suffering when the inevitable happens, when change disrupts what we hold dear. By embracing impermanence, we learn to flow with life rather than against it. It allows us to cherish the present without fearing its end, and to face challenges knowing they too are temporary. To practice this principle, start with small moments. The next time you feel overwhelmed by stress or fear, pause and remind yourself, this is temporary. Just as the sun sets, so will this feeling. Breathe deeply and visualize the emotion as a wave rising and falling, unable to last forever. Similarly, when you experience joy, savor it fully, knowing it is a gift of the moment. Here's your challenge for today. Reflect on one area of your life where you resist change. Write down the fear or attachment you feel. Then repeat to yourself, this too shall pass. Notice how this perspective shifts your emotions, allowing space for calm and acceptance. Embracing impermanence doesn't mean letting go of joy or love. It means holding them lightly, appreciating them fully, and trusting that every ending carries the seed of a new beginning. 6. Cultivate gratitude. In the pursuit of success and happiness, it's easy to focus on what's missing, what we don't have, haven't achieved, or wish were different. This endless chase leaves us feeling dissatisfied, comparing our lives to others, and losing sight of what truly matters. But gratitude offers a way out. Buddhist wisdom teaches that gratitude transforms the heart, shifting our focus from scarcity to abundance. It reminds us to see the beauty in the present moment and find joy in what already is. Consider Priya, a driven young professional constantly striving for the next milestone. Despite her accomplishments, she feels unfulfilled. Scrolling through social media, she's overwhelmed by envy, comparing her life to highlight reels of others. One day, a mentor suggests she start a gratitude journal. Each night, the mentor says, write down 3 things you're grateful for, no matter how small. At first, Priya finds it hard. Her mind is conditioned to see what's lacking. But as days turn into weeks, she notices a shift. She begins appreciating the warm cup of coffee that starts her day, the supportive text from a friend, and even the challenges that teach her resilience. Her sense of lack diminishes, replaced by a quiet contentment. In today's world, dissatisfaction often stems from comparison and the pressure to achieve more. We focus on what others have or what we believe we lack, fueling a cycle of envy and unhappiness. Gratitude interrupts this cycle. It's a simple yet profound practice that rewires your perspective, helping you see life's blessings rather than its shortcomings. To cultivate gratitude, begin with small, consistent steps. Every evening, write down 3 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be grand. Sometimes, the smallest joys carry the deepest meaning. Reflect on these moments and let them fill you with appreciation. Over time, you'll notice how this practice changes your emotional state, making you more resilient to stress and negativity. Here's your challenge for today. Pause and reflect on one thing you're grateful for right now. It could be a kind gesture, a moment of peace, or even a lesson learned from hardship. Say it aloud or write it down. Feel the gratitude in your heart and carry that feeling with you throughout the day. Gratitude is a lens that colors your world in abundance. By embracing it, you reclaim the power to find joy in the present, cultivating resilience and contentment no matter the circumstances. 7. Deep breathing for emotional calm. In moments of intense stress or overwhelming emotion, it feels as though the mind and body are disconnected. Thoughts race uncontrollably, and the body responds with tension and restlessness. Yet, there is a simple, profound tool always within reach: your breath. Buddhist wisdom reminds us, breath is the bridge between the body and the mind. By mastering your breath, you can anchor yourself in the present and regain emotional balance, even in the most chaotic situations. Imagine Alex, a young entrepreneur preparing for a critical presentation. Minutes before stepping onto the stage, his heart pounds, palms sweat, and doubt creeps in. He remembers a mindfulness workshop where he learned the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Inhaling deeply for 4 counts, holding his breath for 7, and exhaling slowly for 8, Alex feels his heart rate slow and his mind clear. By the time he walks onto the stage, the panic has subsided, replaced by focus and confidence. This small act of intentional breathing became his lifeline in a high-pressure moment. In the modern world, anxiety and stress are constant companions. Deadlines, conflicts, and personal challenges pull us in multiple directions, leaving us feeling fragmented. Deep breathing offers an immediate remedy. It's not just about oxygen. It's about creating a rhythm that soothes the nervous system, quiets the mind, and brings you back to the present moment. To incorporate this practice, start small. When faced with tension, pause and take a slow, deep breath. For a deeper practice, try the 4-7-8 technique. Inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds, hold the breath for 7 seconds, and exhale fully through your mouth for 8 seconds. Repeat this cycle 3 to 4 times. Notice how it shifts your focus and calms your emotions. Over time, regular breathing exercises will not only help in the moment, but also build long-term resilience to stress. Here's your challenge for today. Set aside 5 minutes to practice deep breathing. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and focus entirely on the rhythm of your breath. As you do, let go of any tension or worry, even if just for those few minutes. Your breath is your constant companion, a tool of immense power that requires no equipment, no training, just your awareness. By mastering it, you gain the ability to calm the storms of the mind, control your emotions, and bring harmony to both body and spirit. 8. Compassion as a path to healing. When emotions run high, anger, frustration, or resentment, it's tempting to retreat into ourselves, to build walls to protect our hearts. But these walls often trap us, leaving us isolated and weighed down by negativity. Buddhist wisdom offers a transformative path: compassion. By extending kindness and understanding to ourselves and others, we dissolve emotional barriers and create space for healing and peace. Consider the story of Ryan, a young professional who struggled with resentment toward a colleague who often undermined his work. The tension consumed his thoughts, affecting his focus and well-being. One day, a friend introduced him to the practice of loving-kindness meditation. Skeptical but desperate for relief, Ryan decided to try it. As he meditated, he silently repeated phrases like, "May I be happy. May I be free from suffering," extending these wishes to himself, then to his colleague, and eventually to everyone around him. At first, it felt awkward, but with time, something shifted. He began to see his colleague not as an adversary, but as a person with their own struggles. Compassion replaced resentment, and Ryan found a new sense of emotional freedom. In our fast-paced, competitive world, it's easy to feel disconnected, to harbor resentment toward others, or even to judge ourselves harshly. Compassion is the antidote. It doesn't mean condoning hurtful behavior or ignoring injustice. It means choosing to see the humanity in others and ourselves. It's about recognizing that we all carry pain, and that understanding this shared experience can bring profound healing. To cultivate compassion, start with yourself. Practice loving kindness meditation by finding a quiet space and focusing on these simple phrases. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be free from suffering. Once you feel at peace, extend these wishes to someone you love, then to a neutral person, and finally, to someone you find challenging. Notice how this practice softens your perspective and eases emotional tension. Here's your challenge for today. Think of someone you felt disconnected from, perhaps a coworker, a friend, or even yourself. Take a moment to reflect on their struggles, silently wishing them peace and happiness. Notice how this act of compassion transforms your emotions. Compassion is a quiet yet powerful force, capable of healing wounds we thought would never mend. By opening your heart to kindness and understanding, you not only nurture inner peace, but also create ripples of healing in the world around you. Compassion, after all, is the bridge that reconnects us to ourselves and each other. 9. Self-awareness for inner clarity. Our minds are like vast oceans, with emotions rising and falling like waves. Yet we often drift without a compass, reacting to every surge without understanding its source. Self-awareness is the anchor that grounds us, offering clarity amid emotional turbulence. Buddha's wisdom reminds us, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. By knowing our thoughts and patterns, we can transform reactions into intentional actions. Meet Sophie, a young entrepreneur constantly overwhelmed by deadlines and criticism. Every time a client gave negative feedback, she spiraled into frustration, blaming others and doubting herself. One day, she stumbled upon the idea of journaling as a tool for self-awareness. Each night, Sophie began reflecting on her day, asking herself, what triggered my emotions today? Why did I react the way I did? At first, the answers were vague, but over weeks, patterns emerged. She realized her frustration wasn't about the feedback, but her fear of failure. With this clarity, she reframed criticism as a chance to grow. Sophie's emotional storms subsided, replaced by calm confidence rooted in understanding herself. In today's chaotic world, where distractions and pressures pull us in countless directions, self-awareness is both a shield and a guide. It doesn't come from avoiding emotions, but from facing them with curiosity and honesty. Through this practice, you uncover the roots of your triggers and gain the power to respond, not react. Start small by dedicating 10 minutes a day to journaling. Reflect on your strongest emotional moments, asking, what happened? What did I feel? What thoughts arose? Over time, these reflections will reveal patterns. Perhaps you'll notice you react defensively during conflicts or feel anxious when you compare yourself to others. With awareness comes the ability to pause, breathe, and choose responses aligned with your values rather than impulsive reactions. Here's your challenge for today. Set aside time to observe your thoughts without judgment. Whether through journaling, meditation, or quiet reflection, take one step toward understanding the inner workings of your mind. Self-awareness is not about perfection, it's about progress. It empowers you to reclaim control over your emotions, making space for growth and alignment with your truest self. As you deepen this practice, you'll find that emotional clarity becomes your greatest strength, enabling you to navigate life's challenges with wisdom and grace. Remember, the mind is everything, and in knowing it, you hold the key to becoming your best self. 10. Transform challenges into growth. When life presents challenges, it's easy to view them as obstacles, tests we aren't prepared for, struggles that push us to the edge. But what if, instead of seeing these challenges as sources of suffering, we viewed them as opportunities for growth? Buddhist wisdom teaches us to reframe life's difficulties as moments for transformation. Every setback holds the potential to shape us, to build resilience and wisdom. Take the story of Mark, an entrepreneur facing a sudden financial crisis in his business. Instead of sinking into despair or anger, he decided to apply the Buddhist perspective of seeing challenges as opportunities for growth. Mark reflected on the crisis, asking himself, "What can I learn from this?" He didn't just fixate on the immediate setback. Instead, he looked for deeper lessons about patience, resourcefulness, and humility. By reframing his situation, he shifted his focus from what was wrong to what could be gained. Mark discovered creative solutions, learned the importance of financial planning, and emerged from the crisis with a stronger, more resilient business model. In our fast-paced world, where pressure and expectations often weigh us down, this mindset is crucial. Challenges can feel overwhelming, but they also provide a unique opportunity to grow emotionally and mentally. When we face adversity, we have two choices. Let it define us by defeating our spirit, or use it to transform into a stronger version of ourselves. The practice of reframing setbacks begins with the simple act of changing our perspective. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can ask, "What can I learn from this?" When you face difficult situations, whether it's a challenging project at work, a conflict with a loved one, or a personal struggle, shift your focus to the lessons hidden within. What does this experience teach you about your strengths and weaknesses? How can this moment of discomfort help you grow in patience, wisdom, or compassion? Here's your challenge for today. Next time you face a challenge, take a step back and reflect. Instead of reacting with frustration or defeat, ask yourself, how can I turn this into an opportunity for growth? By transforming our challenges into opportunities for growth, we unlock a deeper resilience within ourselves. We no longer see setbacks as threats, but as stepping stones on the path to becoming our best selves. The power to rise above adversity lies within our ability to choose how we respond. And in that choice, we find true emotional freedom. Bonus principle: the surprising power of non-reaction. There's a story of a monk who once faced a hostile crowd. They shouted insults, threw stones, and tried to provoke him in every possible way. But instead of reacting with anger or fear, the monk simply stood still, calm and composed. One of the onlookers, frustrated by the monk's silence, asked, "Why aren't you responding to us?" "Aren't you angry?" The monk calmly replied, "I am not the one who is angry. You are, and I choose not to react." In that moment, he demonstrated a powerful truth. Non-reaction is not weakness, it is the ultimate strength. This principle can transform your life. It is easy to think that reacting to every challenge, every comment, or every insult is a way of standing up for ourselves. But in truth, constant reactions only drain our energy and escalate negativity. Non-reaction doesn't mean indifference. It means you choose not to be controlled by external events. By choosing not to react, you gain control over your emotions and disarm the power others have over you. This practice doesn't come naturally to most of us. We've been conditioned to react to every stimulus: the stress at work, the criticism from a friend, or the pressure of social expectations. But when we stop reacting impulsively, we create a space between stimulus and response, a space where we can choose how to act. Take Sarah, a young professional working in a fast-paced environment. One day, her boss criticized her project during a meeting, and the room fell silent. Sarah felt the familiar heat of frustration rising in her chest, but instead of snapping back or defending herself, she took a deep breath, paused, and simply said, "Thank you for the feedback. I'll take that into consideration." By not reacting immediately, Sarah disarmed the tension in the room and shifted the conversation to a more constructive place. Her calmness surprised everyone, including herself. This is the transformative power of non-reaction. It creates a ripple effect, turning potential conflict into an opportunity for peace. When we stop reacting, we create space for wisdom and clarity. The chaos of life becomes less about the external challenges and more about how we choose to respond. It empowers us to maintain composure amidst the storm, turning emotional chaos into deliberate serenity. Here's your challenge. The next time someone or something triggers an emotional response in you, pause. Don't immediately react. Take a deep breath and decide how you want to respond. In that moment, you'll find your strength and inspire others to do the same. In the stillness of non-reaction lies immense power. It is in that sacred pause where clarity replaces chaos, peace silences fear, and wisdom emerges. The teachings of Buddhism remind us that life does not demand control, it asks for understanding. As the Buddha said, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without." When we let go of our need to react, we reclaim our ability to respond with intention and compassion. Each moment we breathe deeply, practice mindfulness, or embrace detachment, we are planting seeds of resilience and self-mastery. These principles are not distant ideals, but practical tools to transform modern challenges into opportunities for growth. Imagine facing life's uncertainties not with dread, but with a steady heart and a quiet mind. A gift that awaits those who walk the Zen path. True strength comes not from overpowering others or controlling outcomes, but from mastering oneself. Zen philosophy teaches us that the greatest victory is over our own mind, and in this victory we find freedom. Like water flowing effortlessly around rocks, we too can move gracefully through life's obstacles, letting go of resistance and embracing impermanence with grace. When you stop chasing the waves and let the ocean carry you, you will discover its rhythm is your own. Share this rhythm of wisdom with others by liking and sharing this video. Leave your reflections in the comments below and subscribe to Deep Wisdom for more insights into living a peaceful, mindful life. The journey to inner peace begins here. One breath, one pause, one thoughtful moment at a time.